Welcome to the eFA Cup 5th round draw in conjunction with the eFA. My name is Stuart Wesley, also known as Wezza. I am here to present the round of 16 draw for the prestigious eFA Cup. A little bit of background to the eFA. If you are brand new to it, or if you are only just starting to watch it, or you've only just become aware of it, the eFA Cup is one of two cup competitions in the eFA and is the newest contest now in its third year, having started in 2020. It takes inspiration from the regular FA Cup. If you're familiar with the FA Cup, it's the oldest cup competition in the world. We have giant killings, we have moments of magic, we have the hysteria that comes with some of the results that we have seen in the FA Cup. And the eFA is absolutely no different. The Cup itself takes place on FIFA 2022. The regular Cup games are taking place on Football Manager, and the eFA Champions Gold Cup is taking place on eFootball PES 2021. As you can see to my immediate, if I can point to it correctly, to my immediate left-hand side, as you'll see on the screen, for the avoidance of doubt, you can see all 16 teams that are involved here. We've got InterYaNan, Zebra Rovers, Alchemy United, Anadwostars, Booksz United, Club de Haland, CT Allstars, Falcon Arrows, Genesis, Gully Reapers, Honey Badger Rangers, Menace United, Stoic City, Sweaty FC, Telford Tigers, and of course, VFB Hezboa. So, without further ado, I suppose we'd better just get straight into it. For the avoidance of doubt, of course, we'll obviously shuffle this around. Obviously, you can see it's a spin wheel. We'll draw each team out. Obviously, we'll draw them out in batches of 2. The fixtures will be put in the description to this video. This is being recorded on Twitch, but it will be exported to YouTube, so you'll see the fixtures below. And just a small point in terms of the actual kind of rules of this. All fixtures will be taking place in conjunction with the eFA Cup Rule 3.7.1, just for the avoidance of any regulatory or rules that you're looking forward to seeing. Of course, you can check out the rules, the fixtures, the teams involved, all on the efaofficial.com. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, as is customary with what you'd probably see in a cup draw, we will give it a shuffle. I've predetermined myself we're going to shuffle this, I'd probably say 5 times, and then we'll draw out our first team, and we'll just kind of go through the motions, and we'll take out teams as we go. So you'll see the pool of teams will get smaller as we go. So, right then, we best get into it. So I'll hit the shuffle. We've hit it 5 times. We've hit the magical number of 5 times. We will draw out our first team at random, and let's see who is first out the blocks. First out the blocks is Telford Tigers. Nice little home tie for Telford Tigers, or at least having the home field advantage. In terms of notable players, you're probably looking at Memphis Depay. Has been very good since bedding back in to Barcelona. In terms of his transfer there, it's kind of got his feet under the table, has now got accompanying partners, IRL football. Whether that transpires to how Telford Tigers will operate in the Cup will just be a case of what will remain to be seen. But Telford Tigers, the first team out of the pot. We will remove them out nicely there. We'll give it a nice little shuffle, and we'll see who Telford Tigers will be up against. We'll give it the old-fashioned spin, and we will end up with Genesis FC. So again, a tough tie for Telford Tigers up against Genesis FC. Again, main kind of port of call for your attacking flair is Lautaro Martinez. A very technical, skillful player Inter Milan that's having a very good season. Obviously, the Serie A is hotting up as it comes to its conclusion, but Lautaro Martinez at the forefront of everything good. Will he be at the front of everything good for Genesis FC? We'll have to see. So that is our first one out of the draw. And we will just go ahead and get our second tie. So our second tie, I've seen Telford versus Genesis. Let's see who we've got to come out of the pot. It is Stoic City. Stoic City, again, have been middle of the road for a little bit of time now. But, again, in terms of their attacking talent or players that you would look to, Jack Grealish, again, front and centre, been a £100 million signing for Manchester City this season. Hasn't quite hit the heights that I think a lot of people have expected of him. but that won't stop him being a threat for Stoic City going forward. So again, a very good start for Stoic City. They're able to kind of get themselves into a home tie as we can progress on. So we'll get them removed out of the pot. Give it the old-fashioned shuffle. We'll stick on the spin and see who Stoic City will see in the round of 16. It is Gully Reapers. Gully Reapers, again, have always been a tricky side within the eFA setup. Again, notable players that you're probably looking at, or a key man for them, is probably Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Again, has kind of had his transfer to Barcelona, has kind of caught up with himself and has caught that form that he really, really needed, and has kind of seen a new life at Barcelona. Again, it's always going to be a danger, especially in FIFA 2022, with the mix of power, pace, and obviously his physical attributes. It's going to be a troublesome customer to take care of. So that is our second tie in the books. That's Stoic versus Gully Reapers. Give it the old-fashioned shuffle. See who we get. Who comes out of the box next? It's going to be Booksz United. So Booksz United are having a little bit of a kind of a season that isn't quite as remarkable as they probably expect. They're probably going to look to probably use this tournament as a springboard to just kind of take the onus off of their league form at the moment. But they may look to use it as a holiday. They may use it as a springboard to get themselves back into contention and keep themselves away from relegation into the Guzum League. But at the moment, they are where they are. You know, in terms of the players that you're looking for, though, they do have a very good youthful setup, one of which involves one of my favourite players at the moment to watch, Conor Gallagher. Again, although he's on loan from Chelsea, playing for Crystal Palace, it seems to have very much bedded in with the Patrick Vieira way of life at Crystal Palace. And you're seeing a lot of good youth come through. Vieira seemingly knowing exactly where he wants his players and starting to get the buy-in of those players as well. Will that transpire and will that translate to the FIFA 22 engine? I would say yeah, absolutely. And again, would be a player that you would really want to keep your eye on for this side. So Booksz United are out next. We'll do it the old-fashioned shuffle. Let's see who we end up picking out here. And it's going to be Zebra Rovers. So Zebra Rovers are out here. Again, for those of you who may not be familiar with Zebra Rovers' story at the moment, narrowly lost out in the eFA Cup final last year, have been going great guns in their league form. And again, in terms of players that you would look to, again, you know, you talk about youthful players, you talk about players who are coming up through the system. The one I would keep my eye on, Christopher Nkunku. Again, wildly rumoured to be going elsewhere in the summer from RB Leipzig, but has been superb for them, both in the league and in the Europa League. Obviously, the other evening going out to Rangers, but again, has always been a thorn in sides in the Bundesliga. Zebra Rovers certainly have weaponry there to kind of deal some damage, and Nkunku very much at the forefront of it for me. If I was an onlooker and if I was looking to pick a team today, he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet. So Zebra Rovers have their opponents. Again, we'll hit the old shuffle and we'll see who's here and see who we can get a hold of. It is Alchemy United. So Alchemy United, we talk about teams that are in form. Alchemy United currently top of the PEP League. The PEP League being the top division in the eFA, and going great guns at the moment. Is this cup going to be a distraction for them, though? I mean, you look at the players that they have, you look at their pedigree in terms of winning the eFA Champions Gold Cup back to back, which is incredibly impressive from a consistency point of view. Can that transfer to the eFA Cup? We'll have to see. But in terms of players, you don't look past their number 9. You don't look past Kylian Mbappe, one of the hottest prospects in world football. Again, could literally pick wherever he wants to go this summer. But at the moment, he's playing his trade for Alchemy United, who have got a very good run of form. Just wonder whether it's going to come at a cost with this cup run. Will it be a distraction, and will that sacrifice a little bit of their league form? So Alchemy United are out of the pot. Who is going to be their next one out of the pot? Next one out of the pot is CT Allstars. Again, in terms of teams that have probably had starts that are poor by their own standards, by CT All-Stars' standards, it's going to have been a poor start for him in terms of the management, in terms of their team. They may look to use this cup as a bit of a boost. I would like to think so, because they do need to get themselves a bit of league form. If they can start to use the cup as a bit of a gear to boost some morale, that's always going to be handy for them. And again, you look at players at their disposal. One of my personal favourites, more for my club than anybody else, is Tammy Abraham, having a fantastic season at Roma. Again, in a Europa Conference League final, and is, again, kind of a player reborn. All through one transfer can change a player's mentality, can change a player's fortunes. And that has definitely been the case of Tammy Abraham over at Roma. Again, would be my guy to watch if you're looking for a talismanic figure. Tammy Abraham certainly leads the line, certainly leads the front of the queue at this point. So, haven't got that many teams left in the pot. Let's have a look and see who we come out with next. Next one out the pot is Menace United. So again, Menace, having a relatively indifferent season. I mean, you look at their players who they have. I mean, there's only a finite amount of world resource about, but again, you talk about players who are probably that next level under, your likes of your Mbappes and your Halands and your Darwin Núñezes of the world. The next probably level under that is probably headed by the player who I would highlight from their squad, Victor Osimhen. Again, has had a couple of very high profile transfers, playing his trade at Napoli. Now kind of getting some of the recognition that he kind of deserves now that it's in Italy rather than being in France. Again, it's going to be a tricky tie. Whoever pulls out in the other side of this bracket, it's going to be a very interesting tie one way or the other. But Osimhen certainly would be our guy that we go and certainly highlight for these guys. So who is going to draw out Menace United? We shall see. Menace United will play FC Anadwostars. Now, the interesting bit that I picked up in my research, again, a history-making team of epic proportions. Purely on the basis, it's the only African team in eFA history. These are based out of Ghana. Again, as nestled into the Guzman League, which is the secondary league, into the mid-table of that pack, but being in the 5th round of the Cup, again, has been pulling out performances in the tournament. So, again, maybe use this as a springboard to then kind of kick on and potentially get into those promotion places. Certainly something to keep an eye on if you're an Anadwostars fan. Again, if you're looking at players who are close to my heart at the moment, and I know I'm slightly partisan by this, obviously you may tell I'm an Aston Villa fan, but Jacob Ramsey in the ranks, again, has having a very kind of breakout season for Villa, is having a very good time as of late, has nestled into that kind of midfield slot with John McGinn, has kind of been the kind of catalyst for anything good that Villa are doing in between him and Coutinho. Again, you'd look for him to be that catalyst here going forward. So a big ask at the moment. I mean, will this kick them on for the league? We hope so. We certainly hope so from a neutral standpoint. But from here, we'll see who they can get out of the cup here. There's still some big teams loitering here. So we've got Falcon Arrows out next. So Falcon Arrows, again, we talk about Falcon Arrows by the name. You would suggest they're soaring at the moment. They are top of the Guzman League, and currently after 8 games, potential for a league and cup double. I mean, looking at the players at their disposal, certainly is something to look at, and certainly something to keep your eye on. I mean, you look at the players and you look at the recruitment. I mean, even throughout all of the eFA, you look at the recruitment from each team. All teams seem to have these kind of weapons that you would go, yeah, actually, do you know what? They've spotted him early. They've spotted him at the right time. They brought him in. And that certainly is the way to kind of look at this, especially with the player that I'm highlighting here. Luis Diaz moved to Liverpool for 40 million in January, has been an absolute revelation. I think he's probably been better than anybody really would have thought bedding into that Liverpool system. And as such, has become kind of a staple almost of their team. Again, you look at Liverpool's kind of attacking options. There's Firmino, there's Salah, there's Mane, there's Jota. Now to add Luis Diaz to the mix. And Luis Diaz, I would argue, is probably their better option to go on that left side. I'm sure Falcon Arrows will feel the exact same way with picking out Luis Diaz as a potential player to put into their squad. I think looking at it through the pace, the trickery, the skill moves that you're able to employ, certainly is one to watch if you're keeping track of these tournament games. So, who will Falcon Arrows come up against? We shall see. Falcon Arrows is up against Sweaty FC. So Sweaty FC again, relatively middling team at the moment, not quite where they want to be. Looking at their squad, I mean, you would highlight Inaki Williams as probably their go-to player, especially in a FIFA 22 standpoint, most definitely, with the height, able to be dominant in the air, with the pace, able to get very much away from defenders, and has a killer touch in front of goal. Maybe the weak foot maybe takes it away from it a little bit, but ultimately, he's my guy to watch for these guys. Certainly would be the main guy that I would have to go and take this on. So it'd be an interesting little tie between those two teams. Let's have a look and see who we've got left. So there's 4 teams left in the pot. Let me just shuffle it about some more. Let's see who else we've got on the books here. So it is FC Hezboa. The FB Hezboa. Again, relatively middling team at the moment. Iago Aspas has kind of reinvented himself since going to Celta Vigo, and as such finds himself in the Hezboa lineup as probably their leading light for attacking play. Obviously, the players that I'm highlighting are naturally going to be the attacking players because, again, as much as your defensive teams win championships, or as much as your defensive sides win championships, it's always going to be your guys. You'll never win without scoring. So you're always going to be looking to those front men, looking to those players who are realistically your talisman. And Iago Aspas certainly fits that bill. He's not the Iago Aspas of Liverpool. He's certainly the Iago Aspas of Celta Vigo, being called up for the national team as well. Certainly becoming more and more important as time goes on. And certainly for Hezboa will definitely be that player. So we'll take those out the pot and let's see who else is there. There's 3 massive teams here that are still left in the pot. We'll see who we get here. It's going to be Club de Haland. Now, Club de Haland, not as the name suggests, they do not have, I believe, Erling Haaland, but what I will say is that he's the youngest manager in eFA history. Again, debut season last season, won promotion in a debut season, now sitting 3rd in the Pep League. Very, very impressive kind of outing for Club de Haland. And again, you look at the momentum that they have built, and you look at the squad that they have. I mean, you look at the types of players they have. Again, it's very hard to pick between 2. I have to give an honourable mention to Lionel Messi. Certainly a player of infinite skill and infinite footballing IQ, but also having what I consider to be one of the best, if not the best, player of all time in Cristiano Ronaldo. Having both of them in a team is going to be chaos for defences to handle, especially for if you're coming up against Club de Haland. You're certainly going to have problems trying to combat those 2 teams, or those 2 players even. So I think from a standpoint of attacking ability, you're looking at Ronaldo just for that ability to deliver on big occasions, on big games. This will be no different. It is the 5th round. We are getting to kind of the business end of the cup. You're starting to kind of get the wheat from the chaff a little bit. And, with a round of 16, Club de Haland will be looking to try and get into that last 8. And as a result, get themselves a nice little bit of momentum going in the league. And who knows, they may, in their secondary season, be as good, if not better, than their debut season. So, and as we can see here, it's pretty much, we know who's going to be next. The last 2 teams that are in the pot, you have InterYaNan, who, for my money, again, pound for pound, at the moment have been one of the most successful teams in the eFA's history. I've always kept an eye on their kind of their developments as they go. Certainly, they have pedigree. They are the reigning league champions from the previous year. They are currently just nestled in behind Alchemy, though, so you may be looking at them as they've dipped off. They're only a point behind. They only have, they've played the same amount of games. They may be timing this run. So if they can time their run to the league, Potentially they can overhaul Alchemy. Potentially that they can win the league. But the cup, whether it's as important as the league, we'll soon find out from team selection. We'll soon find out from results. We'll soon find out from how they feel about this cup draw. And the last team out of the pot, of course, we don't need to spin it, but we will just for argument's sake. It is Honey Badgers Rangers. The last team out there. Again, in terms of their side and their ability, it's never been questioned. It's never been really been called into question. But for my money, again, they will be a surprise package. There will be something that you've got to keep your eye out for. Now, relative to to audiences who may not have seen my content, I'm a massive fan of Olivier Giroud. I think he's severely underrated as a number 9. And for my money, is their pick of their danger men. Not to mention, though, on the other side of this tie, you do have Mo Salah as well. So Mo Salah, Olivier Giroud, it's a meeting of two different skill sets. I will give it that. But ultimately, that's going to be a very interesting tie to look at. So yeah, that is the end of the draw, guys. I mean, literally, we've gone through all of the teams. All of the draw is out. All of the dust has settled. As we mentioned, in accordance with the eFA Cup 3.7.1 rule, you can check out the rules on the eFAofficial.com. You can check out all the bits and pieces, all the information, and also all of the information on the league as well. You'll be able to check out the rules and in conjunction with the eFA. So my name has been Stuart Wesley. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm sure this will be exported to YouTube. So again, leave down in the comments to see what you think of the draw, and more importantly, how you think it's going to go. Until next time, thank you very much. Take care.